They've been co-hosts for a decade now. Often, the dynamics can lead to moments that feel awkward. Honestly, the specifics are private matters. Stephen A. Smith shrugged off Molly Qerim's exit, calling it a personal issue. However, he confessed that he wasn't fully informed about the situation, and while aiming for neutrality, he hinted at deeper issues. ESPN's choice to keep its leading star uninformed indicates that Molly's departure was not merely a corporate move. It served as concealment. The unexpected resignation took everyone by surprise. Following a decade of seemingly flawless synergy on ESPN's premier program, First Take, the sports journalism landscape was left aghast when Molly Qerim unexpectedly announced her resignation from ESPN on September 15, 2025, taking effect immediately. The intensity of this departure is heightened by Stephen A. Smith's recent disclosure regarding the reasons behind their inability to maintain their professional collaboration. In reality, the situation is much more intricate than anyone anticipated. Beneath the surface of a highly successful sports debate program, underlying tensions have been simmering for months, driven by significant pay gaps, differing creative visions, and what industry experts are now referring to as a total collapse of professional relationships. The meticulously crafted facade of a cooperative workplace was on the brink of breaking apart in the most visible manner imaginable. Good morning. This is First Take. Typically, it's our companion Molly Qerim who would say hello. Yet, last night, Molly revealed her plans to move to ESPN. For a decade, she has been the face of First Take, enhancing the program with her elegance, knowledge, and unmatched kindness. Her presence has significantly contributed to our achievements over the past 10 years. Stephen A. Smith's remarks from September 16, 2025, appeared sincere and profound at first glance. The emotion in his voice was unmistakable as he discussed the unexpected exit of his co-host of nearly 10 years. However, what he conveyed later that day on his Sirius XM radio show would reveal a much different reality, filled with confusion, frustration, and uncomfortable truths regarding the actual events that transpired behind the scenes. Understanding the timeline of these occurrences is key to grasping just how surprising this exit was. Less than a day before her last appearance on September 15, 2025, Molly Qerim was hosting First Take as usual, with no signs suggesting anything was wrong. That afternoon, the Sports Business Journal reported that she would be departing ESPN at the end of 2025 after rejecting a contract extension. She not only guided me and others with grace, but also with warmth and respect. Her absence will be deeply felt. We wish her all the best in what lies ahead. I am especially thankful for the friendship she offered. Every weekday morning, without her presence beside me at Benning, will feel incomplete. What Stephen A. disclosed during his radio segment later that day laid bare how caught off guard everyone was by this unexpected exit. His tone hinted at a deeper unease, implying that there was much more to this narrative than what was being shared openly. Just last night, she unexpectedly stepped down as the show's host. To express that I'm genuinely saddened by this would be an understatement. Molly is a dear friend. Molly is a colleague I've relied on frequently, just as she's leaned on me in the past. The term abruptly resigned is crucial here. This was not a slow adjustment or a carefully planned career change. It was sudden, unforeseen, and visibly awkward for everyone affected. Burke Magnus, ESPN's content president, disclosed in a later interview that an early leak of the Sports Business Journal story compelled immediate action. The public revelation of the information prior to any formal statement left them with no viable options for collaboration. Ben Partners has been a part of the show for a decade. Often, such occurrences are awkward to witness. Honestly, the specifics are really none of your concern, though I don't possess all the facts either. A contract negotiation was underway. The expression, "the particulars are none of your concern," was immediately succeeded by, but honestly, I'm not privy to all the specifics, which is quite intriguing. Stephen A. seeks to uphold confidentiality while simultaneously confessing that he too is uninformed about the true situation. Qerim announced her departure through an Instagram story, stating, "After careful thought, I've chosen to end this remarkable chapter and move on from First Take." Notably absent from her statement is any direct reference to Stephen A. Smith, her main co-host throughout the entire 10 years. Ex-ESPN analyst Marcellus Wiley quickly noticed this, speculating on his podcast that the lack of acknowledgement was intentional and significant. ESPN was eager to keep her, yet ultimately, she chose to exit the show right away. Her Instagram story from last night reveals that after deep consideration, she felt it was the right moment to conclude this remarkable chapter and depart from First Take. Now, let's examine the figures, as the financial aspects are truly remarkable. Stephen A. Smith secured a 5-year, $100 million contract extension in March 2025, positioning him as ESPN's top-earning figure with a yearly income of $20 million. At the same time, Qerim's yearly earnings were projected to range from $500,000 to $600,000. This indicated that Smith's income was around 33 to 40 times that of his co-host, even with both playing crucial roles in the show's achievements. Qerim led ESPN's top-rated program each weekday morning for a decade, facilitating debates among some of the biggest names in sports media, ensuring civility during intense exchanges, and enhancing the professionalism of the show. Despite her contributions, her pay was far from comparable to that of her male colleague. The salary gap is strikingly evident when you look at Qerim's earnings alongside her ESPN colleagues. Kirk Herbstreit takes home a whopping $18 million each year. Mike Greenberg rakes in $6.5 million for his role on Get Up. Even the co-hosts of Pardon the Interruption pull in $6 million annually. All of these individuals earn at least 10 times what Molly Qerim receives. The narrative deepens when considering the dynamics involving other female talent at ESPN. On September 16, 2025, just hours following the announcement of Qerim's exit, ESPN disclosed that Malika Andrews had inked a new multi-year agreement, reportedly worth several $1 million, well above Qerim's earnings. Wiley noted in his podcast that Qerim observed these contracts being awarded to younger female counterparts and felt a growing sense of being undervalued, despite her 10 years of dedication to the network's flagship program. He stated that Qerim took the initiative to ask ESPN for a salary increase that would better reflect her contributions, but the offer she received was far below her expectations, which he described as a disrespectful lowball. This is where Stephen A. Smith's role becomes both pivotal and contentious. As noted by Wiley and various industry analysts, Smith, with his considerable sway at ESPN and $20 million yearly salary, reportedly did not push for Qerim to secure fairer pay during her contract talks. This perceived absence of backing from her longtime co-host could have been the tipping point. Sources indicate that Fox Sports had presented Qerim with an impressive deal, likely around $2 million annually, which is 4 times her earnings at ESPN. If true, it suggests that a competing network acknowledged Qerim's worth and was prepared to compensate him in ways that ESPN overlooked. This adds a more somber tone to the events of last week. Nicely done, Molly Wood. Well done, Molly Wood. This is indeed Molly Wood. Forget Hollywood. Currently, we find ourselves in the realm of Molly Wood. Instances such as this broadcast revealed their lighthearted rapport, yet they also fueled persistent curiosity about the intricacies of their bond. An unresolved inquiry lingered. Had their intimate collaboration muddied the waters of their professional interactions, particularly regarding equitable remuneration? The challenging realities lurking in the background. To grasp the reasons behind the end of Stephen A. Smith and Molly Qerim's collaboration, it's crucial to delve into the unsettling trends and occurrences that accumulated over their 10 years on First Take. Though the wage gap was a significant issue, the reality was much more intricate than merely a salary dispute that took a wrong turn. The professional relationship between Smith and Qerim had long been layered, fluctuating between friendly camaraderie and moments that sometimes veered into uncomfortable territory for viewers, and likely for Qerim too. Over the years, several of Smith's remarks regarding Qerim's looks prompted raised eyebrows and sparked online debates about what is suitable in a workplace. What exactly is going on here? What's happening? I realize you might feel overwhelmed by everything else you adore, yet it's quite bold to show up to work in that attire. Folks, she has not met the expectations established right here on First Take. Although these instances were meant to be lighthearted exchanges, they put Qerim in a situation where her looks were regularly critiqued by her male counterpart in front of a vast audience. How could you wear that? I need to reach out to Ryan to arrange a new wardrobe, but that's a fashion fail. Should I remove the jacket? Yes, it'll reveal some shoulders. Let's show off those shoulders. Let's highlight those shoulders. Let's hit the rails, TMA. It's all about flair. Elevate those ratings with a subtle shoulder reveal. This remark, made during a live broadcast, highlights a workplace culture that has faced more examination lately. Although it was likely meant as a joke, it left Qerim feeling uneasy as she dealt with being objectified by her co-host while trying to keep her composure. The well-known vibrating phone episode from October 2023 serves as a prime illustration of this situation. As Qerim's phone buzzed mid-broadcast, Smith highlighted the term buzzing in a manner rife with suggestive undertones, leaving Qerim visibly uneasy on air and causing the incident to trend online. Such interactions fostered an atmosphere where Qerim was often the focal point of attention for factors unrelated to her expertise or insights in sports. When negotiations for her contract arose, this situation might have led to a differing perception regarding her worth to the program compared to Smith's. Industry experts and ex-ESPN staff noted an escalating friction backstage regarding creative direction and the program's future. Stephen A. Smith's authority at ESPN had surged dramatically, granting him notable sway over programming choices, guest lists, and staff issues. Earning a hefty $20 million per year, he possessed considerable clout, which inevitably influenced his interactions with colleagues, including Qerim. On his podcast, Wiley commented that Qerim felt a lack of genuine support during her contract talks, and Smith's absence of backing was especially hurtful after a decade of collaboration. Wiley theorized that Qerim anticipated Smith would leverage his substantial influence at the network to secure her fairer pay, but that backing was never given. This viewpoint is reinforced by the way Qerim crafted her farewell announcement. Her Instagram tribute to the most brilliant, passionate, and dynamic figures in sports pointedly omitted Smith's name. Following a decade of constant collaboration and countless performances, Qerim decided to part ways without offering any personal recognition to her longtime companion, who had shared so many early hours with her. This lack of acknowledgement reveals a great deal about the nature of their relationship's conclusion. The network faced immense budget constraints while also vying against streaming platforms and rivals for premier sports broadcasting figures. This situation necessitated tough decisions regarding priority and resource distribution. Undeniably, Stephen A. Smith emerged as ESPN's primary focus. His $20 million yearly compensation underscored the network's view of his uniqueness and pivotal role in their triumph. Yet, this focus had repercussions for other talents like Qerim. When one figure takes up such a large slice of the budget, it naturally leads to diminished resources for others, no matter their input. Additionally, another layer adds complexity to this tale: the backdrop of contentious episodes featuring Qerim and male guests during First Take. One of the most striking moments occurred during the 2019 lowball episode. Ball reacted to Qerim's effort to steer the dialogue by stating, "You can change topics with me, whenever," a remark many saw as laced with sexual suggestion. At this juncture in mid-2019, you find yourself on ESPN. And Molly, let me just clarify, Molly Qerim, what does it matter what a chuckle is? Hold on a second, the woman seemed bewildered. LeVar Ball's flippant view of the matter, suggesting Qerim's interpretation of his remark as improper was a sign of her madness, highlights the difficulties female hosts encounter in managing workplace interactions. No one challenged him, as her thoughts were tainted, believing that every man desired her. Indeed, in my eyes, she resembled a witchy figure. I don't consider her attractive. Such encounters established a trend where Qerim often had to protect her professional limits against male visitors who overstepped. The lingering inquiry was whether Stephen A. Smith, her co-host, offered adequate backing during these times, or she felt alone while confronting workplace harassment. Burke Magnus, the head of content at ESPN, sought to present the matter as a clear-cut business choice. During his interview, he highlighted ESPN's desire to retain Qerim, mentioning ongoing talks about shifting her into other positions beyond First Take. Magnus posited that the network recognized Qerim's worth and aimed to collaborate with her in other roles. Nonetheless, his rationale prompts just as many inquiries as it resolves. If ESPN genuinely esteemed Qerim, why was an agreement on remuneration commensurate with her significance to their premier program unattainable? What led to their decision to shift her from First Take? Rather than affirming her worth and providing appropriate compensation, scrutiny of ESPN's pay framework uncovers notable imbalances between male and female on-air figures. Male hosts regularly earn more, even in similar positions. Qerim's case was just the most visible instance of this widespread issue. The frustration stems from the fact that Qerim's First Take as a moderator became ESPN's top daily show. Her talent in guiding vibrant discussions, managing various personalities, posing insightful questions, and sustaining a professional environment was key to that success. However, her pay indicated that the network perceived her role as merely supportive to Smith's analyst position. The disparity becomes even more apparent when compared to the way ESPN approached Malika Andrews' contract renewal. At just 30, Andrews secured a lucrative new agreement shortly after Qerim's exit, implying that the network is eager to back female talent, yet fails to adequately reward and retain those women who have demonstrated their worth over the years. Smith's first remarks on air regarding Qerim's exit were polite, yet his later conversation on the radio unveiled deeper emotions. Running this show has truly been a highlight of my professional journey. Frankly, it took me by surprise. I had no idea this was an option she was considering, but ultimately, she chose her path. We must now progress as a program. The assertion that the decision was unexpected hinted at either a major lapse in communication or a conscious decision by Qerim to conceal her intentions, even from her most trusted coworker. Both scenarios indicate a substantially weakened professional relationship. Reactions on social media came quickly and were frequently negative towards Smith. Numerous users questioned whether Smith had supported Qerim in her negotiations, with some interpreting his lack of comment as significant. These inquiries highlight broader themes surrounding workplace support and the obligations of well-compensated employees to champion their peers. By September 2025, it was evident that the collaboration between Stephen A. Smith and Molly Qerim had come to a head. The issues at play, stemming from finances, mutual respect, workplace atmosphere, or a blend of these elements, had rendered the decade-long partnership that shaped First Take untenable. The consequences and insights regarding the sports media landscape are significant. The impact of Molly Qerim's exit from ESPN and First Take transcends the departure of a single individual from a single program. This scenario has unveiled long-standing challenges within sports media, particularly concerning pay fairness, workplace culture, and the treatment of female professionals in an industry predominantly led by men. In the aftermath of Qerim's departure, ESPN swiftly acted to find her successor as moderator. The network declared they would hold on-air auditions for a span of 30 to 45 days, featuring multiple candidates trying out in the role. Prominent names such as Shea Pepler, Cornette, and Christine Williamson surfaced as leading contenders. Observing the rapid pace at which ESPN is seeking a successor for Qerim, social media commentators pointed out the apparent intention to convey that every individual is replaceable. This is particularly striking given the terms of Smith's hefty $20 million yearly contract. I see the name. We're hitting the F*****ing Jim. You remember how you phrased it? I'm about to drop my first curse on TV. And trust me, I'm ready to take you down. Got it? Who's that over there? I've noticed your build, especially your bust and shoulders. Just know, I can handle myself in those situations. In this excerpt from a past episode, Qerim stands her ground firmly in response to Smith's challenges, showcasing a compelling dynamic that captivated viewers. However, it could hint at underlying issues regarding respect and professional limits. Reports suggest that Fox Sports proposed around $2 million a year for Qerim to be part of their lineup, nearly quadrupling her salary at ESPN. If true, this suggests that a competing network saw and was prepared to reward her worth at a rate overlooked by ESPN. Stephen A. Smith's reaction to the swirling rumors surrounding his involvement in Qerim's exit was strikingly measured. He refrained from elaborating further beyond his first remarks, choosing instead to sidestep detailed conversations. This reticence fostered an environment ripe for speculation and mounting criticism regarding his level of support for his fellow host. Displeased with the situation, he expressed his dissatisfaction clearly. I hold a deep appreciation for her and the impact she's had on my life, the show, the network, and the industry as a whole. Her absence will truly be felt. It's as straightforward as that. The sentiment from Stephen A.S. The voice portrayed here appears sincere, yet clouded by what followed, or rather, what did not. There was no public push for ESPN to rethink their offer, no recognition of the pay gap, and no mention of leveraging his influence to advocate for fair pay for his co-hosts. The disparity between Smith's public remarks and the behind-the-scenes actions led to a cognitive dissonance that left many observers uneasy. He expressed affection for Qerim, yet sources in the industry reveal he did not utilize his significant sway at ESPN to fight for her deserving compensation. Former ESPN figures began to highlight Qerim's case as a pivotal example in the larger discourse on pay equity within sports media. The glaring disparity, with Smith earning $20 million and Qerim under $600,000 for the same role, highlighted the ongoing gender pay inequality within the industry. What made this scenario even more notable was that Qerim wasn't inexperienced. Having spent 19 years at ESPN, she hosted First Take for a decade, which evolved into the network's top-rated daily show. If an individual with her impressive qualifications, long service, and established success couldn't attain pay reflective of her worth, what did that reveal about ESPN's dedication to fair compensation? This circumstance also sparked discussions about the format of sports debate shows and the criteria used for evaluating value. First Take functions under a distinct framework. Analysts such as Smith deliver sharp insights and fervent debates, while the moderator, Qerim, navigates the conversation, poses insightful inquiries, regulates the timing, and upholds professional decorum. Both positions are crucial for the show's effectiveness. However, the pay structure implied that ESPN considered the analyst position to hold significantly greater worth. Nevertheless, we all make choices we believe serve our personal interests for various motives. That tale is quite challenging to convey. Do you possess an ocean? Absolutely. Will I disclose it to you? Not a chance. Ultimately, it's her tale to share. This thoughtfully crafted remark indicates that Stephen A. possesses more insights than he's disclosing. Yet, he opts to maintain that information as confidential. The real inquiry is whether this choice stems from acknowledgement of Qerim's need for privacy or from reluctance to confront his own involvement in the matter. Stephen A. Smith's stance in this situation was nuanced. He was on one side, an employee with personal stakes to safeguard. Conversely, his substantial earnings and considerable influence endowed him with the ability to push for equitable pay. If industry reports hold true, his decision not to utilize that influence signifies a lost chance for impactful support. I believe it's crucial to begin by expressing my deep affection and gratitude for her and her significance to me and the show. Throughout the past 10 years, everything we've achieved has had her by our side. Her presence during every success of First Take highlights how essential she has been to its accomplishments. Yet, even though she stood beside us during each milestone, every ratings win, and every victorious moment, she didn't receive compensation that came close to what her co-host earned for the same achievements. Women in sports media highlighted Qerim's situation as a clear indication that even accomplished female professionals continue to encounter substantial obstacles in achieving fair pay. Her decision to leave a role where she thrived and contributed to making it ESPN's flagship show, primarily due to the network's refusal to offer her a fraction of her male co-host salary, demonstrated how rhetoric around pay equity often fails to convert into real equity. Would ESPN offer the new moderator a salary surpassing what they were willing to give Qerim? Or would this successor also be pressured to accept a significantly lesser wage? The answer to this inquiry would disclose whether ESPN had gleaned any insights from Qerim's exit. It's really not sophisticated when women use profanity. Wow, catch you in the next one. Mom, Qerim. Down. Let's go grab her. Speak up and act that way. Mama, Qerim, catch her. Reflecting on instances like this, Qerim asserting herself and countering Smith's remarks gains new significance following her exit. What seemed like self-assured and spirited dialogue on screen might have been concealing underlying irritations regarding recognition and professional equality. The arithmetic involved is both striking and illuminating. Had ESPN given Qerim a mere $2 million per year, representing a 300% increase from her approximate $600,000 salary, it would still be only 10% of what they offer Stephen A. Smith. Even if the network had increased her pay fourfold, she would still earn only a small portion of her colleague's salary. Their reluctance to invest, even minimally, in keeping someone crucial to First Take success for 10 years speaks volumes. Molly Qerim's departure from ESPN is pivotal for discussion surrounding value, pay, and fairness in sports media. Her 10 years of dedication, impressive achievements, and vital influence on ESPN's main show deserved equitable compensation. The absence of that highlights deep-rooted problems that surpass a single individual or network. Stephen A. Smith's involvement in this narrative, reflected in his statements and his apparent lack of action, will shape his legacy at ESPN. The debate will linger over whether he could have been a stronger advocate for his co-host, or if he should have leveraged his substantial influence in another way. Additionally, his silence regarding these issues raises larger questions about support in the workplace, which will fuel ongoing discussions. It's clear that the professional dynamic between Stephen A. Smith and Molly Qerim became untenable amid the evolving situation by September 2025. Due to issues like unequal pay, insufficient support, uncomfortable office atmospheres, or a mix of these, the partnership that had characterized First Take for 10 years had hit a critical limit. The insights drawn from this scenario go beyond the realm of sports media. They raise essential inquiries about how we assess various kinds of labor, the impact of power structures on pay, and the obligations of those in influential positions to advocate for equitable treatment of their peers. Ultimately, the final say might rest with the viewers who witnessed Molly Qerim skillfully lead First Take for a decade. Their feedback indicates that audiences appreciate and recognize the role of moderators, even if networks fail to offer appropriate compensation. We appreciate your viewership. If you like this video, tap on one of the boxes appearing on your screen to explore more related content.